Welcome to the September 15, 2025 meeting of the University of Rhode Island Board of Trustees, Academic Affairs and Research Committee. The meeting is being held in person with committee members participating remotely. At this time, I'm going to conduct a roll call attendance to determine if a quorum is present. Please clearly respond present via WebEx or present in person when your name is called. Neil Kerwin, present via WebEx. Charles Fogarty, we've been informed that he will not be in attendance. Maria Ducharme. Monica Garnes.
Present via WebEx.
Thank you. David Martirano.
Present via WebEx.
Joseph Matthews.
Present via WebEx.
Okay. Christine Bovey.
Present via WebEx.
And Mark Parlange.
Present via WebEx.
Thank you. Should also note that our chair of our Board of Trustees, Margot Cook, and the vice chair of our board, Armand Sabatoni, are also present. A quorum is present, so I'm going to call the meeting to order.
Neil, not to interrupt, but Maria Ducharme is also present. And Maria,
Okay,
I think
Maria.
you were on mute. Thank you.
Maria, you're on mute.
Okay, I'm present via WebEx.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thanks,
great.
Maria.
Terrific. All right. All right, a reminder to all our members for the benefit of our audience and the note taker, please clearly identify yourself whenever you comment, make a motion, or second a motion. Participants using WebEx are required to keep their cameras on as remote members, and all persons present at the meeting location must be clearly audible and visible to each other. At this time, I would also like to acknowledge that the University of Rhode Island occupies the traditional stomping ground of the Narragansett Nation and the Niantic people. Are there any proposed amendments to the published agenda? Okay, hearing none, our first order of business is to approve the minutes. May I have a motion that the committee approve the minutes of the June 17, 2025 meeting?
David Martirano, so moved.
Thank you, David. Is there a second to the motion?
Monica Garn, second.
Thank you, Monica. Any discussion of the motion? There being no discussion, I'll ask for a voice vote. All in favor of the motion, please say yes.
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 All opposed, please say no. Any abstentions? The motion to approve the minutes is approved. The next item on our agenda, item 2, is the report of our Chief Academic Officer. Barbara, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon. If we could have our slides, please. What I'd like to do is tell you that we are off to a great start for the fall semester. And there are a couple of topics that we do want to cover today. If we can go to the next slide. One more, please. There we go. Great. We're going to talk about summer enrollment, our LTFA, which is our leadership team for federal actions, update on the searches that we have going on, as well as the medical school feasibility study and the accreditation, or I should say reaccreditation update. Next slide, please. So to start us off, I want to just give you an update on our summer enrollment. We are coming off of a very, if we could go, yeah, thank you. We are coming off of a very successful summer term. We had a record number of students enrolled, 8,300, which really does highlight the excitement that our programs are offering over the past summer. And I do want to recognize Dr. John O'Leario, who is our Executive Director for the Office of Strategic Initiatives. He also runs the URI summer sessions and winter J term, and his team was very successful in terms of having this summer, which was really a record summer of student enrollment. So we also saw this summer launch 2 other new pilot programs. And here they are reversed in terms of what they're called. The first is really called Roadie Launch, and the second is called Level Up. But Roadie Launch was a conditional admit program where students took a college course that was supplemented with study skills, time management, and academic support. And the program had a 90% success rate with the students currently enrolled this fall. So that's great. And then the second program that we had was the Level Up, which is a 2-week math pilot program. And that was designed by Barbara Kazkaz, who's our chair of the URI math department, and Dr. Kim Stack of the University College to improve the math skills of incoming freshman STEM students. And this was an opportunity for them to develop their skills further to be more successful as they went forward with their studies. And here we had 94% of the students improve their proficiency from pre-calculus to calculus, thus saving them time both in their academic journey and helping them prepare for what rigorous academics were before them. So we're really excited about these programs, and we're heading again into an exciting time this fall as well. We had a record number of over 28,000 applications for the University of Rhode Island. We also yielded an excellent incoming class of over 3,385 students and beyond. We also have our enrollment team, which is really leading a team sport here at URI, because enrollment is a team sport, and we really are working with our community here to recruit and support such fantastic students that are coming in this year. And a big shout out to our Associate Vice President, Dean Labuti, and his team for bringing in such an excellent cohort. We can go to the next slide, please.
Hey, Barbara, before we go to the next slide, quick question
Sure.
on that. Is this a requirement for students, and are we really trying to just refresh the students and get them ready for the rigor of URI, or is it more of a test to say, you know, do they need to pass this to get into URI, or what's the requirements for this? And it sounds like a great program. I'm just more curious.
Yeah, this is a program where they would have a greater opportunity to prepare themselves to be more successful going forward.
Got it. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's see, next slide, please. If we switch gears and shift over to the leadership team for federal actions, you will remember that President Parlange appointed this team back last February in response to assessing and monitoring the activities that were going on at a federal level, particularly with a number of executive orders that were coming out. So the leadership team continues to meet on a weekly basis to look at the impact of the federal actions, or the recent federal actions, or for that matter, ongoing federal actions. And so as a reminder, we are primarily focused on developments that impact research funding, changes to the Department of Education, developments related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and immigration and international travel guidance and updates. Most recently, we sent out a community update this past month, providing information on developments that may have occurred over the summer or that were ongoing from the previous time. And this included updates on select litigation, information about our Office of International Students and Scholars, and the news that several URI researchers have secured competitive research grants recently, which we're very excited about. Including awards to help boost research excellence in environmental microplastics, develop nature-based solutions to mitigate coastal hazards, as well as improve HIV infection. So we're really excited that we are seeing a turn in terms of those types of awards being made. We could go to the next slide, please. I'd like to just give you a quick update on some of our searches. We have multiple leadership searches underway. This month, we will be launching a national search for our next Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, and we anticipate concluding that search in the spring with finalists joining us next summer. We also have searches underway for our Vice Provost and Dean of the Graduate School, as well as a Vice Provost for Academic Resource Management. And our aim is to conclude both of these searches by the end of this fall. We also welcomed Ray Wang last month as our new interim dean of the libraries. And Ray brings extensive university experience in libraries, and we are excited about his leadership in helping us modernize our libraries during his tenure at URI. And we will be looking forward to moving to the university librarian search later this year, this academic year. We'll do that. Next slide, please. And then an update on the feasibility study. And as you know, the Rhode Island Special Legislative Commission is meeting to evaluate the feasibility of a possible medical school here at the University of Rhode Island. The next meeting is October 9th at 5 p.m. at the Rhode Island State House. And this meeting will be devoted to public testimony. And we look forward to hearing from folks about the potential URI medical school. So as you also know, Trip Umbach is the outside entity that is conducting the feasibility study, and it is on track to submit a final report next month. And the report will include a feasibility study as well as an economic impact analysis. So that will be important. And based on Trip Umbach's update thus far to the commission, we anticipate the final report recommending the establishment of a public MD granting medical school in collaboration with Rhode Island hospitals, health systems, and community clinics. And again, the medical school would emphasize primary care and community-based training with a strong integration across URI's existing health disciplines. Again, establishing such a medical school at URI would have the opportunity of generating significant economic benefits for the state of Rhode Island, including job creation, workforce development, research funding, and boosting the state's biomedical sector. So we look forward to the final report, and we will be sharing it with you when it is ready. Next slide, please. And then the URI accreditation or reaccreditation, as we are an accredited university. And as I shared in June, the university is up for reaccreditation, and that's by the New England Commission of Higher Education, also known as NECHI. And that will occur in 2027. And I do want to take a moment to thank the members of our accreditation steering committee who are listed here on the slide. And I want to give a special thanks to Dr. Sue Adams, who is our Vice Provost for Academic and Faculty Initiatives, who is our lead on accreditation. And I also want to thank Chair Kerwin for representing the Board of Trustees on the steering committee. So there's a lot of work ahead of us, but to give you an idea of the timeline, if we go to the next slide. The process will officially kick off the next week with an overview presented to the President's Stewardship Council. And then this fall will be devoted to planning and doing some data collection in preparation for what is called a self-study. And that'll be conducted over the course of the next year. And then a preliminary draft will be completed by March of 2027 with a final report that's submitted to NECHI in August of 2027. And I'll provide regular updates on accreditation as we move forward. So that I will stop there and see if we have questions.
Okay. Questions from the committee for Barbara?
Hi, Barbara. It's Monica Garns.
Hi.
Great report. Just a quick question going back to the Rhody launch and the Level Up program. It looks like great success rates there. And I may have missed this. How many students went through each program?
Great question. I think we actually have Dean LaBeauty who is joining us. Dean, do you have the precise numbers?
Yeah, hi, Monica. It was about 24 students in each program was what the initial cohort was. It was a great pilot for both areas.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean.
Barbara, Mark too, I suppose. One question: what would the time frame be on the med school decision making? What occurs after the Trip Umbach report is filed and the public hearing is conducted? I mean, do you have any sense of how long it might take for a sort of an authoritative decision on whether to move forward or not?
No, that's a great question. So the report will then go to the commission, and the commission will take it under consideration. And then from there, I believe it goes forward to the General Assembly for further discussion.
Okay.
Mark, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's so to your question, Neil, it will be this fall that will be very important. We, formally the report is due, but the work of the commission has to wrap up this fall. So as Barb said, this meeting on October 9th is quite important.
Okay.
And after that, I think it'll move.
And presumably there'll be an action by the state legislature, which, let's say it endorses the idea. There'll have to be subsequent work in terms of funding and time frame and all the rest, right?
Yeah, that would be, then I think that would be a full, year basically until, summer of next year, probably in the planning.
Okay.
Neil,
Any
Joe,
other? Yeah,
Matthews,
Joe, go ahead.
a
Yeah,
question, if you can, if you have this information available, Barb, what impact has there been on overseas students coming to the university? I've just heard numbers are down, but are we seeing a substantial change there in when it comes to immigration?
Yeah, I think we've seen a decrease in graduate schools, not so much on undergrad. And I have both Dean LaBeauty and Kristen Johnson are on from our international office. I don't know if either of you would like to add to that in any way.
Hey, Kristen, why don't you jump in, as I know you've been following this 7 days a week for many months.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So I'm really happy to report, I think including our international student athletes, our undergraduate numbers are higher than we've had in the last couple of years. And we've really had both the ability to steward students through. So they're prepared because some of the requirements for joining the university have changed. Just in terms of immigration compliance, but we have a larger undergraduate student class. Graduate is down a bit, but we are, I think, in a quite a good relative to everything else going on. It's been pretty reasonable overall for stewarding students in. URI has been really supportive of our international student community, and that's been fantastic. So hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Kristen, and thank you for your service.
The international office has been just amazing in terms of providing support 24/7 for our international students. So it's made a difference.
Kristen, have you experienced much in terms of visa processing delays, or it sounds like you've done a heroic job, because that's not the general report I'm hearing from, other colleagues around the country. Yeah.
We certainly have some deferrals, and I think that the consular pause affected us just as much as it affected everybody else. It was a universal process. Where we've had the ability to get students into that process early, we really hadn't had a tremendous impact. Where there were late acceptances or the timing just coincided in a complicated way, we've had some, and that's particularly impactful at the grad level, I think, some necessary deferrals. And so I think, though, that overall it's been relatively smooth, and I think that we are very fortunate to have consummate professionals that are really helping students do an outstanding job in navigating the process and making timely decisions in terms of arrivals. And so we've been really lucky, and I give that credit to our international students and scholars team.
No, well, listen, congratulations. That's a terrific result. Thank you. Okay, other questions for Barbara?
Mark, got one last question. Hi, Provost Wolf. It's Monica Garnes again. I should have said earlier, congratulations on the record enrollment. That's pretty awesome. Do we see where we feel we can continue to push and grow? And is there like a number we think that we can get to and still have comfortable and great experiences for the students? Like, are we striving to hit to, okay, next year let's go for 8,700 and get to 10,000? Or I just would be curious as your thoughts or your Dean Labuti's thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, it's a great question, Dean. I welcome you to join. I think it's not a simple number because we have a couple of things that we are trying to balance. We have to look at things like housing capacity, those types of things. So it's really thinking about where you want to grow and going back to our focus URI, which we all have on our desk. One of the areas that we're looking is growing graduate programs and graduate enrollment, and that includes online as well. So I think, looking at capacity, it really takes into, are they in person, not in person, and what is our capacity to actually house people on campus? Dean, other things you think we can add to that?
Yeah, I would just say from a summer perspective, we are planning on trying to beat it once again, and we are working with our academic colleges to go into the summer space with some of these new programs and initiatives. For instance, the math, we're hoping to expand that and other things. So I think that the summer enrollment, we're going to try to keep pushing, 3 to 5% for this next year, and maybe after that 5 to 7. In terms of continuing student enrollment, I would agree with Provost Wolf. Undergrad, we're really traditional. We're really at a good spot, but the doubling of graduate and the work of online is kind of where we're going to be going for the future in terms of growth.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Last call on Barbara. All right. Thank you, Barbara. Excellent report. Now we're going to report from our Chief Research Officer, Bethany Jenkins. This is a particularly important report, I think, since we're finally learning at least something about the contours of the impact that this administration's actions have taken with regard to university-based research. So Barb's going to give us some sense of metrics on where we stand, and then what we're looking at for goals going forward. I would add that we're anticipating a brief executive session following Bethany's report to take up somewhat related matters. So Barbara, or Bethany.
Thank you so much, Chair Kerwin, and this is a great turnout for this meeting. Really appreciative of all of our Board of Trustees members that are here to hear about our research ecosystem at URI. So once the slides are loaded, we can get rolling. You can go right to the second slide. Thank you. So the short story is, and this is a theme I've been really talking with our faculty and really sort of so proud of our campus. If I were to pick one adjective to describe our research community, it's resilient. It's incredibly resilient. And so I'm showing you the close of fiscal year 25, and the bottom line is we were only $3 million less than our high watermark in FY24 in research awards that came in through the university. So this is remarkable. And on the next slide, when we take our partner organizations, the URI Foundation and the Research Foundation, and combine those in terms of research activity, we're actually higher than we were last year. So we have a really thriving research ecosystem that many are working hard to sustain and help. And there have been some strategic new investments from President Perlange and Provost Wolf in terms of some personnel into the office that I can say are making a huge difference in terms of support that's unprecedented for our faculty as they continue to seek research, which is shown on the next slide. So as you can see, the little numbers are a bit small, but in FY25, we had more proposals submitted to federal agencies than any year before. So again, despite these headwinds and tough times, our faculty keep trying, they keep knocking on the door of agencies that are increasingly hard to predict in terms of their priorities. So people are just doing an amazing job. And what that's done is resulted in a number of awards. The provost highlighted a few. I'll showcase a few more as my presentation continues, but I'd like to show a little bit of landscape analysis as I do each year to show you kind of what that blend of research looks like from agencies, which is on this next slide. So this is our award distribution by funding agency. And so you can see we're still taking in, you know, the new administration started impacting awards really in January and February. So it's kind of this blended year of old and new, so to speak, but we still have a diversity of agencies that we're receiving funding from. We had several large awards through NOAA and our Ocean Exploration Cooperative Institute. And it's very interesting because of the deep sea exploration and connection to some of this administration's priorities on ocean mining, that seems to be a pretty safe portfolio in the landscape of our research. We still are receiving grants through the National Institute of Health, which we're very excited to see. That's in orange. And I really want to give a shout out to an area where already with Mark Antonucci's leadership and the partnering between the division and the foundation, we're actually growing this wedge of funding coming in from foundations, philanthropic foundations that fund research. So this is up over previous years, and this includes things like the Simons Foundation, Schmidt Foundation, Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation. So this is really exciting to see because these are sort of new revenue streams that allow some again resilience to our portfolio, and it's been a lot of fun to be strategically working kind of with the foundation across campus to go after these opportunities. And I think this is going to continue and serve us really well going forward. Next slide. I also want to show just the award distribution by college. This hasn't changed a lot based on previous years. The College of Environment and Life Sciences is doing really well, as is the Graduate School of Oceanography, the College of Engineering, and the College of Health Sciences has attracted new awards. So again, we're having people hit the gas pedal in terms of wanting to see their research funded across campus, which is really nice to see. Next slide.
Hey, Bethany.
Yep.
Is that representation typical of research-oriented schools, or maybe you could just put that back up for a second. Do we lean hard on GSO because that's kind of where like a lot of the research had momentum, or like how would you like to see this slide change over time?
Yeah, that's a great question. I see it changing in a few instances. I certainly don't want GSO to go down, and I think that there's new opportunities in the particularly blue economy sector where that portfolio can grow. Places where I see, and again, I also want to remind you, this isn't research expenditures by college. These are just new awards that these colleges have taken in over the last year. And so it's really that snapshot of how they've grown. There's a lot of opportunity in terms of the colleges that, and I'll talk about this a little bit in terms of graduate training, but in the health sciences and the College of Pharmacy, and as that biomedical science is building and the ecosystem around it, I anticipate that area to really take off and grow. And it's really been growing with some of our early career faculty. So that's an area where I think in terms of the health sciences, I think we can continue to grow.
Good, thanks.
So one thing that's been really remarkable this year, and it's just thrilling, right? This is our future at the university. You think about our brand new faculty that have come in that have only been here a few years. The National Science Foundation has an award called the Career Award, and these are the superstars. This is your rock star researcher award that are identified as early career faculty. And what the panels look for are faculty who have tons of potential for both activating long-term research careers. And we've seen that play out in some of our really highly productive senior researchers that were NSF career awardees when they started, as well as their role models that they serve in terms of their academic engagement and outreach engagement. And so we had an all-time high of 5 faculty in 2025 that were selected for these career awards. And this is just broadening our impact. It's right there with the strategic plan. And this is really our future, right? These are our youngest and some of our brightest people. So we're really, really excited about that. And the other thing that I'm particularly excited about in terms of, again, how faculty have responded to just a climate where the news is not good. I think we're all seeing that, and research has been hard, but we had 14 early career faculty submit career awards over this summer, which is also an all-time high of submissions. So people are working so hard to build their careers at the University of Rhode Island. The next slide highlights those faculty and the research areas that they're in.
Okay,
and you can see that they represent a diversity of fields and people and the types of work that they're doing. And so we have folks in engineering. I'm really excited to see in physics. I'll talk in a minute about one of the large awards that came into physics, and that's partnered with a department that's really flourishing from the chair on to their early career. We had one in computer science. This is just so great, and natural resource science, which is in the College of Environment and Life Science. So they're spread around campus. And what this really reflects is there's an ecosystem here at the university that is supporting these early career people, their faculty mentors, and then their ability to sort of execute on their research vision. So this is so exciting for us, and I hope you get a chance to meet these investigators at some point. They're really terrific. Next slide.
Before you leave that, I just want to congratulate the university for this performance. 5 awards of this sort for a university faculty the size of URI's is really quite extraordinary. And it really speaks to the success of your search processes for new faculty. I mean, these are men and women who do represent the best and the brightest, because I'm familiar with the NSF Career Award, their criteria. This speaks so well of what's going to happen down the line. It's really quite remarkable.
Yeah. Thanks, Neil. We're thrilled, and this is obvious, and where research and academic affairs really intersect. Hence, the fun of this committee is seeing these pieces come together. This is another great example of that. We are so thrilled to have an NIH T32 in interdisciplinary biomedical neurosciences for graduate training. This is going to provide 56 predoctoral training positions. And the investigators are from the College of Engineering, College of Environment and Life Science, and College of Health Science. So this is the breadth and intersection of our interdisciplinary work. And Jody Camberg, who's, she's one of my colleagues in the Department of Cell and Molecular Biology and the chair of that department. And, her strong you can't get these unless you have strong NIH track records yourself to be a mentor, to be stewarding this ecosystem of trainees. So this is now our more established faculty who have built these strong track records, stepping up to provide this funding from the National Institute of Health that's going to help with our predoctoral training. So again, really excited to have this award. It's timely, and again, it's going to help weave these intersections. We'll have students now working together in these disciplines, which again should be this positive feedback into additional NIH funding. Really thrilled about that. Next slide. We had a good summer. These are all awards since I last updated you. So this is since the June meeting. So this is really exciting. And this is, again, the senior leadership we're seeing in the Department of Physics. Len Connor, chair, got this NSF Expand Rise Track 2 grant with the University of Pittsburgh for quantum sciences. So this is a $5 million award to use quantum fundamentals for research and workforce development. So this is just, so exciting to see. And, our physics department is really, really, on the map, and it's just absolutely thrilling. And you might have seen some of the articles in the Rhody today about all of the the LIGO work and the imaging around black holes, and we have research in that area as well. And it's just pretty cool. Next slide. The other award that came in over the summer that I'm really thrilled about, and I think we're really developing this leadership in this area. This is a $7 million NSF EPSCoR E-Rise Award to look at marine microplastics in coastal ecosystems. And again, this is an interdisciplinary award. Dan Roxbury is the lead. He's in engineering with Vinka Craver as a co-PI. And so they've got this just great team put together with opportunities to train students and work with partner institutions in Rhode Island, including Brown, Rhode Island College, and Roger Williams to execute on this really important project. And I think we've seen again from Professor Jamie Ross. She's an assistant professor in pharmacy, really doing interesting work looking at how plastic exposure might make people more susceptible to Alzheimer's disease. So we're going to really be on the map for this kind of work in years to come. All right, so that's our really good news. So this was a summer where we've been watching awards come in, and those are so important to the university. And now I just want to talk about the fact that we've had this happening in the background of some significant impacts. So the next slide kind of summarizes those impacts to date. So this is now, it's a little hard to explain. We had some awards unterminated. So this is the current landscape as of September 5th, where we still have $46.5 million in terminated awards. And the way this data is displayed is the y-axis shows the agency. Each gradation of color shows the size of the award, basically, and then the number of awards is that number that's next to the bar. So we had 6 USAID awards terminated, 4 from the NIH, and so on. So, you know, I don't know if you want to jump in, President Parlange, because you've been talking to your colleagues and know that despite all of our good news, this is significant compared to what we see in terms of much larger peer institutions.
Yeah, I think that's unfortunately the case, Bethany.
Yeah. The next slide, please. So the next slide shows what the landscape of current financial impact is. So we had of that $46 million in awards, we have $27.6 million remaining on unspent funds. So this is the direct financial impact. This includes both indirect cost, and the estimate on that is around $5 million in indirect costs, and the remaining of the 27 in direct costs on those awards. So this is money to support people, to support students that are now removed from the university's revenue stream. Okay, next slide, please. So the other thing that I like to do is check in with our strategic plan and our goal, which is to double research by 2031. And just as a reminder that benchmark's based on a 3-year average and an inflation adjustment. So the inflation adjustment I don't like because I like the high numbers. So the last column shows this data in actual dollars. And so we're doing well. And now I'm showing you not new awards, but research expenditures. And so if we look at the inflation adjusted value, it's a little not on the same slope as the actual value towards that 2031 measurement, but we're a couple years in. And so one of the things that I just wanted to flag is that these research expenditure numbers are where we're going to start to see some of these impacts most directly from the grants that got cut. So that's something we'll need to kind of grapple with next year, because those awards won't have those expenditures on them. Next slide. We are doing well in terms of our publications in the top 10% of cited publications. So our goal is to hit 12%. We moved by a little bit of 0.1%, but that's good and going in the right direction, and the overall trend is going in the right direction. And so again, our researchers continue to do this and high impact work, these career investigators that just got these nice awards. We should see this recapitulated in the publications to come out of those labs. Next slide. So for the latter part of my presentation, rather than giving you a lot of data from the Research Foundation, I really want to highlight some of the work we've been doing to really center the URI Research Foundation in service of the University of Rhode Island's intellectual property and innovation ecosystem. And I think I've got some really exciting news to share with everybody. So first, I wanted to just summarize the numbers from our intellectual property last year. In the next slide. So we've got about 20 active licenses that are part of our portfolio. We had 23 patents filed last year and some disclosures, and our licensing revenue is about, it's not huge, it's about 35.6K a year. So this is an area where we're leaning in and exploring if this can be an area of growth with the Research Foundation. And so what are we doing and how are we doing that? One is really working with some of their personnel who have also been adding capacity in that area. And I'll show you what that looks like in the next slide, please. So these slides were really put together with, and I'll show you the people in the next slide, but Pete Rumsey's really been leaning in with the help of President Parlange and Provost Wolf to sort of activate this part of the Research Foundation, and he's been working there for a number of years. He teaches some of our innovation classes in the College of Business, and they're cross-listed with engineering. And he's been doing a lot in the last couple of years at URI to sort of lift the innovation ecosystem. And this is starting to, his work is really starting to pay off. So next slide. So the Research Foundation team that's really associated with innovation and intellectual property is, again, Christian Cowan directs the Research Foundation, but it's really Pete Rumsey that's sort of been embracing this. And there's a couple of people I really like to point to. Pete recruited very recently a woman named Allison Markova to the Research Foundation. She was in the tech transfer shop at Woods Hole, and she's just been terrific. And so working in partnership with her to bring in this new talent has been really helpful. And then Gina and Joe have been part of this Rise Up program that has been really training students and faculty fellows around research and innovation. And so what Allison's brought to the table, I want to show in the next slide. And this is some thinking around looking differently at this combination of traditional tech transfer and kind of looping out of these pipelines to help with venture formation and new company formation. And so Pete and Allison have been really thinking about how do we do tech transfer? What does the strategic framework look like? How do we build off of the IP that we have? And is there this feedback between the inventions, the patent disclosure, and then ventures and potential for new startups? And so there's sort of this wheel thinking that's been developed, but then tracks that come out of it that are really meant to be serving in terms of trying to help our faculty be more entrepreneurial. Next slide, please. So we've been working, and they've been working to kind of rebrand the Research Foundation website so that it's kind of this home now for innovation and IP and to build these connections. Next slide. So one of the things they've done, which I really like, this is live. It's a company called Impart, and each of these little tiles is URI owned IP. So this is now this really nice framework where this can be broadcast to the universe and people can click through and find more more information about these inventions. I guess chat's not available. I was going to put the link in the chat, but I can follow up and send you the link to some of these websites. So this has, you know, these tiles for the IP that we've protected, and so that industries and other people can just see what is going on at the University of Rhode Island in this area. Next slide. So the other thing that we're doing is looking more at what can we do more with the licensing ecosystem, and thinking more again strategically about increasing that licensing revenue. And one place we're doing that is just to create more of a culture on campus around innovation and entrepreneurship. Next slide. So one of the things that we're doing is partnering with Rhode Island Startup Week, but having a forum here at the University of Rhode Island. And again, this is really Pete and his vision and energy around this. And earlier in the summer, or last spring, I guess it was a rainy day last spring when we took a train to Yale with President Parlange and myself to meet John Sonderstrom, was the head of Yale Innovations, and he's been part of the Yale, really kind of got tech transfer started at Yale. And so he agreed to come to URI to kick off this tech showcase. And so we're really excited about this. And we think these areas are now more than ever are really important for bringing in new revenue, and also for harnessing the creativity and enterprising souls of our faculty and researchers. Next slide. So the plan for the upcoming year with this team is to really start engaging more faculty, making IP feel much more of a service where their faculty have collaborators when they start in the pre-disclosure process, and people can sit down with them and kind of guide them through and make it much easier for them to sort of say, yes, I want to file a disclosure or protect my intellectual property and URI's intellectual property. And so this is a nascent ecosystem, but I'm really very thrilled to report on these new developments, and actually feel that we're moving in the right direction in terms of this recentered you know, innovation and IP as part of the partnership with the Research Foundation. So I believe that's my last slide from this presentation, and really happy to answer questions.
Bethany, first of all, I love the this effort. Mark, we were just in a call earlier today talking about this, and I think what's going to be really critical. First of all, I love that you're going out to like, you know, to understand best practices from other universities. We're not the first people to do this, so learning what works and what doesn't work, I think is really helpful. The thing that strikes me that we have to lean into is really understanding what like an enterprise relationship management model looks like. So there's tech transfer, and I think that the better we get at that, that's a source of revenue. It's a source of branding. It's like all the good things that come out of being an R1 university and research oriented, has impacts on the around economy. It attracts better faculty. Like all the outcomes are great. I think making sure that as we develop this, we're also developing this way of thinking about who holds the corporate relationships. And the better we're structured internally around who has the enterprise relationship, and then how that owner of the enterprise relationship, how that filters through the organization, the team around it. It looks like you've got some people that are starting that effort, like that what that team looks like, and how that filtrates through the university is so critical. It's critical from the company's standpoint, because they don't want 5 people calling them. They actually want a broader relationship. But it's also critical to leverage these relationships to the best we can. Because if you've got one person, in engineering and one person in business and one person at the foundation, it loses the power of the relationship and you're going to miss opportunities. So I think I can only relate it to how I used to think about building relationships with companies, like my company to another company or to a client, where somebody owns that relationship at the most senior level, but their whole job is then turning into the university to understand how to leverage that throughout. So I don't want to confuse this with the actual tech transfer process itself, but it's interrelated, and how we structure those relationships can really catalyze partnerships. So I just would keep that in mind as you're building this out.
Yeah, thank you, Margot. Really appreciate that perspective. It's important.
Neil, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, that's not going to move things along, is it? Other questions for Bethany on the presentation? Okay, I believe at this point in the agenda, we will turn to an executive session. So may I have a motion that the committee convene into an executive session pursuant to Rhode Island General Law 42-465A7 for a discussion of a matter related to the question of investment of public funds, which includes any investment plan or matter related thereto, where the premature disclosure would adversely affect the public interest, specifically research support from partner organizations. May I have that motion?
So moved, Maria.
Thank you, Maria. Do I have a second?
Second, Joe Matthews.
Okay, thank you, Joe. I'll ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
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 All opposed, say no. Any abstentions? The motion is unanimously approved. It's anticipated that the executive session will last approximately 15 minutes, and then the committee will reconvene into open session to consider action items. The live stream is going to be paused during the executive session and will resume once the executive session has ended and the committee reconvenes into open session. For all those participating via WebEx, please confirm now by saying yes that no other person is present and are able to hear the discussion at the remote location. Yes.
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 If you do not automatically move to the breakout session, join the session when prompted on your computer by clicking on the Join Now button. Attendees not participating in the executive session are going to be moved to a waiting room.
We are live. We're back in open session. You're automatically on defaulted mute. Thank you.
Thank you. The first order of business in our reconvened open session is a motion to seal the executive session minutes. May I have a motion that the minutes of the committee's September 15 executive session be sealed?
Joseph Matthews, so moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Maria.
Thank you. Yep. Do I have any discussion of the motion? Ask for a voice vote then. All in favor, please say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda, actually items are two action items. The first is a now routine action by this committee to award undergraduate and graduate degrees, diplomas, certificates, and honors to be conferred as a result of folks who completed their work at the conclusion of the summer 2025 term. So, Barbara, is there anything else you want to add to
No,
this
great.
familiar motion?
Again, it's familiar, and we're asking the committee to recommend to the board the approval of the said degrees and certificates and diplomas and honors. And we're asking you to do this now and pending the approval of the faculty of the University of Rhode Island. They'll be voting on it on Thursday at their first meeting for the semester, but that comes right in between this meeting and the board meeting. So
Okay.
it is presented here.
Good. All right, that's fine. And as routine as it is quite important since this board is the authority that grants degrees, and people do expect to receive them, after they've completed their work. So let me have a motion, please, that the committee recommend that the board approve the awarding of undergraduate and graduate degrees, diplomas, certificates, and honors to be conferred by the president to the candidates who have completed their requirements at the conclusion of the summer 2025 term and who are approved by the faculty of the University of Rhode Island as recommended and presented in the enclosure attached. Is there a motion to that effect?
So
Monica
moved, David.
Garn, so moved.
David Monterano, second.
Thank you, David. Okay, thank you for the first and second. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing no discussion, may I have a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so that motion also carries unanimously. The second action item today is the granting of tenure effective August 25, 2025 to a faculty member, Patricia C.O., if I have that pronunciation correct. If not, I'm sure you'll correct me, Barbara. PhD, APRN, FNP-BC in the College of Nursing. Barbara, would give us a little bit of background on this candidate, please?
Sure. Dr. Co is joining us as the Associate Dean for Research in the College of Nursing and professor. She's coming to us from Brown University at the School of Public Health. She brings a significant history of sustained scholarship and research, including R-level funding from the National Institutes of Health. In addition, she has produced more than 60 peer-reviewed journal articles and book chapters. And she's also held elected positions with the Association of Nurses in AIDS Care, including serving on their board of the national directors. And she also has held editorial roles as a member of the board of the Journal of the Association of Nurses in AIDS Care. And she's currently the associate editor for the journal Addiction. So we put her forward for your consideration.
Okay. Well, I, for one, think of those as very impressive credentials. Congratulations on this hire. So may I have a motion that the committee recommend that the board approve the granting of tenure effective August 25, 2025 to faculty member Patricia Co., PhD, APRN, FNP-BC in our College of Nursing, who has met the requirements for tenure at the University of Rhode Island as recommended.
Joseph Matthews, so moved.
Thank you, Joseph. Is there a second?
Second, Maria.
Thank you, Maria. Any discussion of the motion? There being no discussion, I ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that motion also passes unanimously. The final item on our agenda is adjournment. I might add that we are completing our work on time and under budget. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, David Monrano.
Do I have a second to that motion?
Second, Maria.
Anybody want to take the chance of objecting to the motion? I see no. Okay. Any abstentions to the motion? All right, please, all in favor, please say yes.
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 All opposed, no. Any abstentions again? All right, that motion also is approved unanimously. The next meeting of the Board of Trustees Academic Affairs and Research Committee is now scheduled for October 27, 2025. We are adjourned.
Nice job.